let's crank it up. First thing I'm going to be doing is cutting my neighbor's field. He's been waiting on me for a couple of weeks, and it's a vacant field. He owns the property, but he doesn't live there and almost never visits. But he wants me to maintain it for him, and so this is the first cut of the season, and I'm going to do his again this year before I do mine. Hopefully all will go well, and I'll be able to finish his today and come up here and get mine completely done tomorrow. Alright, so what we're going to do now is engage the PTO for the Rhino, which is right here. We're going to get the RPMs up, but we're not going to go all the way up to 540. We'll probably try to get it going around 1500 RPMs here, and try to engage this to see if it will actually kick it in without killing the motor over. So the moment I do that, I'm going to want to increase the throttle just a little bit and make sure it doesn't die. So I'm going to go up to about 1600 here. There we go. Now I'm building up the RPMs. Now we're at 520, we're at 530. Now we're at 540. I'm going to let it smooth out a minute. It's vibrating pretty good. We got one of those spinning real good back there. That shield shouldn't hurt anything, but it'd be better if it wasn't doing that. Let's put it in gear and see if we can cut with it here. Put this emergency brake off. This is the power shuttle shift. We're going to go forward, and we're going to just ease off the clutch, start going, and just see what we get. Again, this is the first use, since last cutting season, and so we're just kind of refreshing ourselves on all this. Oh yeah, she's cutting good. I feel like my blade sharpening absolutely improved that cut. Look, and we're still going smooth at 540 RPMs at the PTO there. Alright, well, we're going to head down and we're going to cut the neighbor's field first. Ahead of us here, you see we've got our 20 acres. There's rolling hills. There's plenty on the other side of the top of that peak there on that ridge, and there's a lot going down toward the creek on the other side of that ridge and everything in between. So I'm going to come out here, take a straight beeline up here. I'm not going to get right up beside the woods right now because I'm just interested in getting down there and cutting my neighbors. When you tell somebody you're going to do something and you're a little later than you feel like you should have been, it's not something that you want. And so he's priority one right now. It's looking good though. I got it set kind of low. Now I just noticed it bogged down a little bit, so we're going to bring it down to first gears. And we're just going to cruise on through, and yes, let's crank this air up. Oh yeah, that feels good. So it's at 530. I'm going to bump up my throttle just a little bit. We're going to get back to 540. Just keep cruising. I'll see you when we get down here to their property. All right, we made it down here. So this is the field we're going to be cutting, and it's pretty tall. And so I'm going to raise that deck up a little bit. We're not going to cut quite as low as I was cutting up there in my field, even though mine's not been mowed this year either. This one just seems a little bit thicker, a little bit taller. I want to show you something that you want to check before you start spending a long day bush hogging or something, and that's your hydraulic fitting. Just make sure you don't have any obvious leaks anywhere. I've actually was mowing that field last year at some point, and I ended up with a loose fitting here, and I lost about 2 gallons of hydraulic fluid, and that's a lot of money. So you want to make sure your fittings are good. All right, well, we're going to get to cutting now, finally. Lowering the deck a little bit, get it up about 1600. Let's engage this PTO. And it killed it. Didn't have it quite high enough. All right, let's try this again. We're going to go a little higher. Tell you what, I'll raise the blade back up, the deck, so it's not sitting down in the high grass. There we go. Okay, we're at 500. Let's get on up a little bit. I'm going to drop the deck down. I think that's where we need to be. Let's move it on up here to 540. Let it smooth down. And let's see what it looks like when we start cutting here on this big, tall stuff. Here we go. So let's move it down to, we're in second gear. Let's see how she does. It's in second range down there. All right, I'm gonna cut around, go back that direction. Shut this PTO down again, and I'm going to see if we can figure out why that's spinning, see if we can make it smooth out, settle down. I'm wondering if the other one has a chain on it. The other one's just not moving, and this one's just moving with it, and it doesn't make sense why it is, because it spins freely here. I'm wondering if at some point there was some kind of chain holding it in place, but there's not a chain on this other side. I don't think it's anything to worry about. I'm just going to let it do this a second, see if where I've greased it. May need to put some more grease in these fittings down here. I don't have my grease gun down with me, so we're going to mow this field here, whether this spins or not. Here we go again. And it's still spinning back there, y'all. I don't think it's hurt nothing. Okay, so we've done our first loop. I started up there, I went up around the tree line, all the way down to the road and back around, and now we're going up the property line here. I'm just trying to get up near these fence posts without knocking them over. Scoot back in here and get a little more. I'll straighten the next line up. Just getting a little bit of this tall stuff. On down there, I've got, when it rains a lot, we've got a spring underground that comes through, and boy, it fills up that area. You might be able to see where that grass is kind of tall and thick down here off the driveway. It is definitely an area I want to tread carefully in, because it's possible that it's still wet from days ago where we had quite a bit of rain. But this thing's cutting smooth and good. Every time I turn a corner, however, I'm hearing thud, 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 thud. And it seems like there's a little bit more vibration on that side where we've got that spinning PTO sleeve. And makes me wonder, you see those two bars right down the center of the Rhino? The one on your right there, it's got a little bit of a vibrate, but it seems to be smoothed out. But when I turn a corner, when I cut a corner, I'll hear that thud, 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 and that thing seems to vibrate a little more. So if anybody knows what that is, please comment and let me know. If you guys are enjoying this kind of video, it would really help the channel a lot if you'd drop us a comment. From what I understand, YouTube decides to share our videos with more people if we get a few comments, and a whole lot of you who watch haven't commented, and we would love for you to do that if you don't mind doing it. We have a few folks that comment regularly, and I love commenting back and just chatting back and forth with everyone. It really means a lot, and I appreciate hearing from each and every one of you. And I've got some regulars that I'm always looking forward to hearing from. So you know who you are, and I really appreciate that. this is the wet area I was telling you about. You can look down here. Let's pop it 4-wheel drive because I can feel that it was kind of slipping a little bit. Boy, it's cutting really good. I mean, obviously it's a mess, but for it to be getting through this so easily and not bogging down, staying right up here at 540 is really, really good. And I'm going a lot slower than I used to go. And if you've watched previous videos, you might, if you're you hear that thud? I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I'm turning a corner here and that thud started happening. And here it's going to do it again. But yeah, those of you who are tractor people, bush hoggers, you guys have done this. And for you guys who are new and don't know, I bought this tractor and I bought this bush hog brand new when I bought my property about 3.5 years ago. And so bottom line is I'm brand new at this, outside of what I've basically watched on YouTube and been self-taught. And not only that, but again, speaking of comments, those of you who have commented have helped me a lot. And that's why I keep asking for help, because I'm just learning as I go here. Right there in front of us, we got us a big old dirt pile. There's a video where I had a skid steer for a while, and I piled up a ton of dirt right here that was off the sides of our driveway, where we dug some awesome drainage trenches and added a bunch of riprap. All that's got a playlist to it. Anyway, there's the perimeter we've already cut, like I said, and now we're going to start coming in and hopefully knocking this puppy out. But yeah, love to hear from you. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up. From what I understand, that helps as well. All right, I'm going to try to get you on my head here. There I am. Oh, that's pretty. That is pretty. All right, we're going to go around this field a few times like this. I'm hoping that you can see real good. Let's see, I'm looking around. I think you can see pretty much what I see. So we're putting it in gear. We got the brake off. PTO's still going. We're in third gear in the down here on the low side. We're in second. All right, cool. This is fun. I should have done this already. I just want to get y'all some footage. I don't want you just hearing me talk. Let's just sit back, chill out, and listen to some cool music. I tell you what, maybe we'll throw a song on here about a fella in his tractor pulling 15 feet of cutting beast behind him. What do you say? Let's do it.
It's a lovely place indeed, this land of rolling grain, with 15 feet of cutting beast, the sharpest blade I've seen. My tractor, how it rumbles out in the morning light, pulling this Rhino in my Case IH, feels oh so right. The sun is barely rising, the day's about to start. I feel the earth beneath me, it's a song straight from the heart. With every turn and pivot, the roads come into view. This Rhino in my Case IH, got work and dreams to do. Oh, you should see it cutting, the field so wide and free. Rhino blades are turning, making hay for you and me. Case I beneath me, painting skies a brilliant hue. Together we're a symphony, a country morning true. The cows are in the pasture, the chickens in their coop, the barn's filled up with laughter, the kids they run and whoop. But out here in the distance, where the fields meet the sky, this Rhino in my Case IH, plowing till night is nigh. Oh, you should see it cutting, the field so wide and free. Rhino blades are turning, making hay for you and me. Case I beneath me, painting skies a brilliant hue. Together we're a symphony, me a country morning true. From sunrise to the sunset, the labor never ends. It's the life we chose together on our farmlands as friends. The circle of the seasons, the promise that we keep. This rhino in my case I age. It helps to sow and reap. Oh, you should see it cutting the field so wide and free. Rhino blades are turning, making hay for you and me. Case eye beneath me, painting skies a brilliant hue. Together we're a symphony, a country morning true. From sunrise to the sunset, the labor never ends.
Look, Mom, no hands.
We chose together.
Power shuttle shift just does its thing, y'all. Just does its thing.
Circle of the seasons,
Pretty awesome.
the promise that we keep. This rhino in my case I age. It helps to sow and reap.
Oh, there goes a rabbit. Y'all see it? Glad it got out of the way. I hope there wasn't no bunnies down in there. Came through a while ago and I hit that piece of tire. And I shredded that puppy good. We'll come back, get close to the road here after a while. I'm going to get this perimeter in a little bit, then I'm going to start going straight lines back and forth. I just like getting me enough space that I can come turn around and go back. Then I divide it up into sections and I don't have to do such sharp turns. God is good. Praise the Lord. You know, I just thank God every day for life and for love. Especially if you have family and or children or grandchildren, and you know what a blessing it is that they are safe, that they're protected, and that they're healthy. Praise the Lord. If any of that ever changes, God forbid, we just have to trust in the Lord if that happens. If we lose someone we love, we got to know that God's got a plan. He will make good things come from any circumstance if you just trust in Him. See all those birds flying around? They know that we're cutting, and they are on a search for some insects that they couldn't get to before. They're all around us. The Bible says to trust in Him, because just watch these sparrows. See how they don't reap. See how they don't toil and how they don't work the fields, but they have everything they need. And He says, how much more do I love you? But I do know that God expects us to work, because He talks about that as well. But the fact that He takes care of those birds, that's a reminder that He's got us, and He always has. If you're hearing my voice right now, you have been taken care of, whether you know it or not. Got some big stuff right here. Cut right through it. Yeah, you've been taken care of, because if you hadn't been, you wouldn't be where you are at this moment. And it doesn't even matter if you're listening to me from a jail cell or a prison cell somewhere. Things could have been a whole lot worse. Got to look on the bright side of things, everybody. I know it's easier said than done. And believe me, I'm at fault for not always seeing the best of things myself. But when I get alone especially, I'm reminded. I am reminded that He's in control and to trust Him. So what if something terrible has happened? Well, guess what? Something terrible has happened to me. I've lost people I love earlier than I think they should have went. But I'm not God, am I? I'm not in control. Beautiful thing is, if you know that they have the salvation that's given freely by the grace of Jesus Christ, then in that case, there's some peace that comes along with it that you wouldn't have otherwise. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, that having salvation and spreading that gift by sharing that message of the gospel of Jesus, I'll tell you what, right there, it gives you peace on this earth that you would never have otherwise. The Lord says to think on these things, things that are good, things that are pure, things that are holy, righteous. Now, do we always think on the right thing? Absolutely not. Do we need to strive to? Of course we do. We've got grace if we're saved. If we believe in Jesus Christ, if we believe that He came, He was God, He is God. He was there from the beginning. And He was born of a virgin birth. And He lived a perfect life, no sin. He absolutely did. And during His life, He led others and He taught them the truth, the way, and the life, and how no one can come to the Father except through Him. And then because He claimed to be God, by the way, He did lots of miracles. If you know anything about Jesus, you know He did a lot of miracles. He raised people from the dead. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than that, right? And He knew what was coming because He claimed that He was God, and that the powers that were in charge felt threatened. He was crucified, He was put on a cross, and He died. And it was foretold. Look into the Old Testament, read Isaiah chapter 53. A lot of prophecy there from hundreds and hundreds of years earlier that talked all about what was coming. The Old Testament is full of prophecy about Jesus. Anyway, after He died, 3 days went by and He rose again. He was resurrected. He came back to life as prophesied, as predicted. And then comes all of the evidence in Jesus. He was witnessed physically, in person, by well over 500 eyewitnesses who lived at that time. Not just followers of Jesus. He certainly was seen by them. I missed a spot back there. But he was witnessed by folks who came to know Jesus after the fact. In fact, one of the biggest bad guys in the Bible was a guy named Saul. And he would go around killing Christians because he believed that they were really leading the truth astray, that he felt like that it was a false teaching, Christianity. He didn't believe that Jesus rose from the dead. He thought it was a cult. Well, he was traveling to go kill a few more Christians, I think. He was on a road to Damascus, and getting cool in here. And anyway, as he was traveling, Jesus, after the resurrection, after he ascended into heaven, he came back and he met Saul on the road. And Saul fell off of his horse, if I remember correctly. And when he did, he was blind. He couldn't see. And then he was able to communicate with the Lord Jesus and learn the truth, knew that it was him. And he became the preacher who literally saved countless number of people, who traveled all over the world, all over that area, from nation to nation. And he spread the gospel. He was the biggest supporter and believer. These disciples who were completely scared of Saul. By the way, Paul, he no longer went by Saul anymore. He started going by the name Paul at that point of his conversion. And anyway, those disciples didn't know what to think, man. This guy who used to kill them, he was on their team now. He was a big part of the spread of Christianity because he witnessed it along with many, many others. There's books, ancient texts outside of the Bible itself. Even though the Bible itself is an amazing authority, the Gospels, they were published, if you will. The word published might not be the best terminology, but they were put down within no later than 70 years following the life of Jesus. And most of that text was written during the time or just after Jesus' life ended. And then finally it was put into documentation so that it could be passed down. There's more witness evidence and current historical proof, if you will, of Jesus Christ than there is of Alexander the Great. The books that were published were very soon after his life, the books of the Bible. But again, it's not just the Bible. There's text from authorities of Rome that also backs up completely the life of Jesus, the death of Jesus, and what the rumor was of the resurrection of Jesus according to the Romans. Of course, they didn't know to believe. Who would believe? Who would believe unless they saw it, right? But what we do is we can believe in evidence. We can believe in not only the evidence of the eyewitnesses who did see this after it occurred, but you've got the evidence of the Old Testament with all the prophecy of what was going to happen, and it happened just like it was said it was going to happen. Now, on top of that, what about this evidence, y'all? What about the evidence that this world is actually seemingly in the last days? And those of you who are skeptics can say, well, yeah, they've been saying that for years. Okay, but have we been dealing with the things we're dealing with all those years? I'm 55 years old. That means I was born in the late 60s. And I tell you what, when I was a little kid, I remember hearing about the situation that was prophesied in the Bible that said that a person would not be able to buy or sell or even save for their future unless they had a mark. The mark of the beast, the number of the man, the number of man. And I thought to myself, okay, I've got 2 quarters in my pocket and I got a $1 bill in my little leather wallet. And how in the world is anybody going to control whether I'm able to buy or sell anything with this $1.50? I'm going to go right down the middle now, y'all. Let's just try to go straight. I'm going to put my eye on a target down there, get straightened up. I see a bush right there in the middle of that tree line at the very end, and I'm just going to keep my eyes focused on it, and we'll actually have a straight line. If I just look down here at the grass, I'll weave and just go every different direction, and I'll have what looks like a snake behind me that I've cut. That goes for the same thing in life when it comes to following the Lord. If you just keep your eyes on God, no matter what circumstances there are all around you, you will be able to follow that straight and narrow path that leads to heaven. Now, guess what? There's a daisy, there's a rabbit, there's a bird, there's a frog. We're gonna see things, and we will. But you get your eyes right back on Jesus as soon as you possibly can. You'll get back in line and you'll stay on track. I don't know where I just left y'all off except this. I'll just tell you. Love the Lord thy God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. When Jesus was asked, what is the greatest commandment? That's what he said. Love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. If you go back and you look at the teachings of Jesus, you will find that there's nothing that you would ever say against him, if you're being honest, that you could ever hold him fault for. Because again, he lived the perfect life. And everything he taught, it was love. It was helping people. It was lifting others up. Did he also teach to keep the law, the 10 commandments? Absolutely he did. Did he get angry when the money changers were at the temple and they were basically making a mockery of the house of the Lord, the house of God? Absolutely, he got very upset. They were basically ripping people off. They were selling animals for sacrificing, and they were profiting. They were doing a lot of things that Jesus didn't agree with. He not only flipped some tables, but he got a whip out. He started spanking a few folks, letting them know that they weren't doing the right thing. You see them over there doing hay? I tell you what, I wish that's what I had bought, hay equipment. I wish I had gotten hay equipment, because obviously this wouldn't make good hay, but it's something. But what we would want to do, of course, is on my field at least, and maybe even the neighbors here, get some good seed planted and harvest all this instead of wasting it. If I had it to do over again, no doubt the Rhino 3150 is an amazing machine, but I would have bought hay equipment for that money, and I could have gotten some good hay equipment for that price. And I would have been storing up hay or selling it. You know, that's a revenue stream right there. Hey, chicken. Uh-oh, we got one down. What are they doing? Y'all might want to move now. You got some eggs down here? They can go over and look now. Hopefully, if they do, they're down deeper than I'm cutting. Alright, let's put some music on and have some fun.
When the sun rises over these rolling hills, I reckon on the blessings these old roads fulfill. Thank Jesus for the love that pulls me through. Thank God for my life. Thank God for you. Thank Jesus for the lovely people like you. Thank God for my life, for my family so true, for the friends and the times we never outgrew. Thank God for them. Thank God for you. My old man taught me how to work this land. Sweat on my brow, we built it hand in hand. Now these fields stretch wide under sky so blue. Another day, another prayer, it's all thanks to you. Thank Jesus for the lovely people like you. Thank God for my life, for my family so true, for the friends and the times we never outgrew. Thank God for them. Thank God for you. Through the hard times and the good we stand, united like the rivers running through this land. No storm too rough, no night too dark. With love like ours, we left our mark.
Well, we are getting this thing accomplished. I've got this strip to do. It's a couple passes. Got a little bit up there, and then I got this section and that section on the side, and we'll be done with this yard for this neighbor. Yard, I call it a yard. It's a field. I think there's about 10 acres here if I remember the measurement correctly. There's a website, for those of you guys who don't know, that's free to access. The way I go in and find out the size of acreage is check out the site, and you can draw a line, a perimeter around it from a satellite view, and it's called, I think it's called findlotsize.com. I'm not promoting this site. I don't know who owns it. I don't know anything about it except that I've used it. It's been very beneficial for me. So findlotsize.com, I think, is what it's called, and you can go get make measurements of property and find out what you're looking at there. There's probably other ones. If anybody knows of a superior one, I would love to know about it. Please drop a comment there in the comments and let me know. But yeah, we're just going to wrap this thing up, keep going. So don't leave just yet, but I'm going to say my goodbyes to you today. I sure hope that your day is going well and that you've got good days ahead of you. Thank you for coming to the lovely place and joining us here, and I hope you'll come back. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel so that you can see us occasionally. Maybe hit that bell icon there, and I think it'll give you notifications when we've got a new video. By the way, we put new videos up about every Saturday morning. We've been doing that for a couple of years now, and we're thrilled about the people who are following us and the subscribers, and just excited to be able to be a part of your day. So God bless you. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time here at The Lovely Place.